2, 1.
Hi, welcome to Healing Talks with Kingdom Docs.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hussein Musa,
I'm Dr. Adatone Musa.
and we're talking about the power of peace.
Yes, in the last episodes, we talked about how peace guards your heart and your mind.
Yes. Now, peace is a wonderful guard, but once again, peace is powerful.
Yes.
Imagine what peace can do when you're using it against the enemy.
As children of God, we walk in power because of the gift of the Holy Spirit. And Jesus actually demonstrated this power in Mark chapter 4, and I think I'll start at verse 37. Jesus was in a boat with the disciples, and he was asleep in a terrible storm. The disciples were terrified. And so I'll start reading at verse 37. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awake him and say unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, Why are you so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? And they feared exceedingly and said one to another, What manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?
There's so much to unpack from that.
Yeah.
And one thing that just popped out in that verse is that Jesus, he's asleep in the storm, which means that you have peace in the midst of the storm. You may not see it, but he is there in the middle of the storm.
I think it's because Jesus, as a perfect representation of God on earth, he was God, but he also feared God and he also trusted God. And we are to trust God as a child trusts his parents. He was able to sleep in that boat because he perfectly trusted God to the point where he knew God would bring the boat to the other side. And he didn't have to worry about a storm or anything else, that God would provide the solution.
I really love that. Even when the waves are crashing into the boat, Jesus is peace, and he's just resting in the midst of the storm.
Yeah.
And in our health conditions, regardless of what you hear, regardless of what you're facing, you can rest in God's promise.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I'm Dr. Hussein Musa.
I'm Dr. Adatone Musa.
And this is Healing Talks with Kingdom Docs.
Yes.
And we're talking about the power of peace. And peace in this instance allowed Jesus to rest in the boat in the midst of the storm while his disciples were panicking.
Yeah. And again, rest is super important. It can be physically sleeping, but it can also be this assurance that God said what he said. He's the promise keeper, and he will pull you out of this storm. He will provide a way out.
And I think when I look at this storm, there's waves of life. There's an ebb and flow. And sometimes the waves of life, the problems, the challenges, it can enter your house, it can enter your boat and go to the point where you have no peace. It actually drove out everything else, and now your boat is sinking, your life is sinking. But peace is still there. And what was amazing is that the disciples, they called on peace. They had to wake peace up inside the boat and said, help us. And what Jesus did, he said, okay, fine, I'll help you. Peace, be still.
So he actually was able to rebuke those winds and storms, and the storm just stopped. It was over. The turmoil was over. And I can see this is a representation of each and every one of our lives. And for me, and actually for us as a couple, we've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. And our boat was actually full of water. We thought we were sinking and overwhelmed with all these trials. But we remember that peace is with us. He'll never leave us, and he'll never forsake us. And he's able to quiet all of those thoughts and all of those anxious thoughts as well.
Well, that's all the time we have today on Healing Talks with Kingdom Docs.
Visit us at kingdomdocs.com for more information or to make an appointment.
And visit our website as well to view the podcast, kingdomdocs.com.
God bless you, and bye-bye.
Bye.